everyone, it's Monday, February 17th, which happens to be President's Day. Perfect time to ask, is Trump good for investors? Let's find out, and we're starting right now. So, if you wanted to know if our newly re-elected President Donald Trump is good or bad for the economy and for investors, you first have to ask if presidents even matter at all when it comes to these topics. So, do they? Well, it turns out while US presidents are often referred to as leaders of the free world, if you check with an economist or a constitutional scholar how much the occupant of the Oval Office matters, they won't say much. The truth is, it's a whole lot of perception and not a whole lot of factual knowledge on the part of the average person when it comes to knowing how much a president influences the US economy. People think they matter a lot, but their true influence is greatly exaggerated, and in reality, Congress and the Federal Reserve holds far more power and influence in the US government. Even more significantly, the $30 trillion US economy is a lot bigger than any presidential administration, which, let's not forget, comes and goes. Think of the economy as a big tanker ship sailing straight ahead. Occasionally the captain makes a tweak here and there, but in the end, he'll leave his post and another captain will come in. Finally, let's not forget, there's the world at large. The global economy is estimated at $110 trillion, and the amount of trade that flows between the world's 195 recognized countries is truly beyond the average person's understanding. There just isn't much a president can do by himself that would make a significant impact on something that big. Now, what about the political parties these presidents belong to? Well, perceptions are real, and here's what people think of the two political parties that have taken turns holding power in the US since the 1850s. Republicans are better known for cutting corporate taxes and trying to lessen regulation, and that can translate to more corporate profits. Democrats, on the other hand, are generally known for raising taxes and imposing more regulation. Thus, the stock market does have a bit of a Republican preference, but as a rule, it simply adjusts to whoever is in power, and the market, together with the economy, has done well and at times not so well under both Republican and Democratic administrations. What the market prefers, far more than any particular political party, is a united, not divided government, where the same party is in charge everywhere, which is what we have right now. You see, regardless of who's in power, it's more important that the government speaks in a united voice. The markets can adjust to whatever policies are implemented, even tariffs, but they hate ambiguity and uncertainty that comes with a divided government that can't make any decisions or pass any laws. Okay, but who's really better for the economy? What does history have to say? Glad you asked, because people have studied this in detail, including all the way back to the 18th century. However, I'll just focus on the last 75 years. Turns out, 4 of the 5 presidents who have overseen the largest average economic expansion since World War II have been Democrats: John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Bill Clinton, and Jimmy Carter, with the 5th being Republican Ronald Reagan. In fact, over the last 6 decades or so, history has tended to favor Democratic presidents in terms of economic performance. The country's unemployment rate has been lower at the end of every Democrat's tenure since Kennedy took office in 1961. Ronald Reagan, meanwhile, is the only GOP president since Dwight Eisenhower took office in 1953 who can say the same. So does this mean Democratic presidential policies are better for economic growth? Not necessarily. Presidents are subjected to the peaks and valleys of business and inflation cycles that they have nothing to do with, and they sometimes inherit problems without enough time to take preventive measures. Democrats certainly had a bit of luck coming into office at just the right time as the economy begins an upswing, but even that didn't happen all the time. As far as policy and leadership, it's really a toss of the coin, and neither Republican nor Democrats have the upper hand here. For example, levels of public investment in education, infrastructure, and basic non-military research under Clinton's Democratic and Reagan's Republican administrations are head and shoulders above such investments made by George W. Bush's Republican and Obama's Democratic ones. Such investments can help build up labor force skills and worker productivity and ultimately help drive both economic growth and wage gains. So yes, good policy does matter, but don't be surprised. No political party runs away as the clear winner. It's the big picture, such as wars, inflation, pandemics, and the state of the global economy that drives the good times and the bad, and whatever party elects a president at just the right time will benefit. So to come back to the question of our new president, is he good for the economy and for investors? There are 4 traits that indicate if any president will positively affect both of these: a strong vision, ability to negotiate and compromise, active in the face of crises, and the ability to build and maintain trust in major political and economic institutions. institutions. On the other hand, presidents who make reactive or impulsive policy decisions tend to be poor economic leaders. I will leave it up to you to decide if Trump has the right qualities or not, as this isn't a political video. But I will also leave you with the following advice. Don't ever forget that you're investing for the long term. Any presidential administration, good or bad, is a temporary blip on the economic radar. Just keep investing smart, stick to the fundamentals, and you'll be fine, no matter who is in the White House. As always, if you enjoyed this content, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.